Wow, man, we almost had that synchronized perfectly. Where ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com, Comedy Schools on YouTube, and Tony Visick's Facebook Live all came on simultaneously. And that is a no easy feat, ladies and gentlemen. That is no easy feat at all. We almost pulled it off. Good afternoon. It is Sunday, June 7th, 8th? 7th, June 7th, 2020. My name is Tony Visick, and you're watching Living on a Thin Line with Tony Visick. We do this every day at 2 p.m., except Saturdays. We do it at 7 p.m. It is your daily diversion from all the anxiety, crazy hoopla going on in the world today. It's my break as well as yours. I came up with it. It was recommended to me by a songwriter in Texas that followed me on Facebook, and I'm glad that he did, Jim Lacey. And now it is something that I can build my day around. It can get so easy sometimes to get listless or caught up in all sorts of silly stuff. And when I go, wait a minute, I got a thing I have to do. And as the days have gone by, we found more ways to do the things that we have to do under the current circumstances, which are always changing. But I hope that you're finding ways to cope and to find a little joy in your life. It's a difficult time to do that, I suppose, but we got to do it. You have a moral obligation to be happy. I read that someplace one time and I went, wow, that pissed me off. Anyway, look, I got a fun show for you today. Those of you who follow the show know that it's built around three things. It's interaction with you, the audience, as you send me questions and make comments on Facebook Live or on YouTube or on ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. It's based around me showing you some little knickknacks, some little thing I got sitting around here that may have at one time meant something to me that I then left laying by the wayside, like little toy soldiers laying in the bottom of a closet of a boy as he got older, and then rediscovering them and remembering that they meant something to me, and it was exciting to have them at one time, making everything old new again. And I recommend either two pieces of music or two artists based on my vast, and it is vast, vinyl album collection. Now, I'd be remiss in my duties as the owner and founder of ComedySchools.com not to remind you that tonight at 7 p.m. On Zoom, I am bringing you Tony Visick Presents Sunday Nights Funnier. It's now our weekly series of stand-up comedy shows brought to you through Zoom, into your living room through the magic of Zoom. Easy to buy tickets. Go to ComedySchools.com. Got a great show for you tonight from Los Angeles and in Los Angeles. Hello, Lauren Mulliver. Is, of course, good to see you here. Paul Green, ladies and gentlemen, extremely funny guy, just really beginning to headline clubs all over the country in the few months up to all the clubs in the country shutting down. So now he'll be headlining our show tonight along with fan favorites, and I mean it, fan favorites, Abhinav Goyal, DJ Payne, and Travis Minor. So you got four very funny individuals who will be gracing your phone, tablet, computer, or big screen tonight, all for only $10. Tickets available at ComedySchools.com. There's a limit on the number of tickets we can sell for these types of things, oddly enough. So go there and buy one. When you buy one, you're buying three things. You're buying entertainment, brand new entertainment, never before seen. You're seeing that? Okay. You're also helping to pay the comics, therefore keeping the economy alive. And also we donate portions of proceeds to local food banks here in our area. So you're doing a good thing, you're doing a great thing, and you're having fun. Okay, so you can put those in the order you want. I don't really care. You put them in the order you want. So that's what we got going for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Then, of course, Tuesday, if you're going, well, I'd like to do something free. Kind of like watching this Facebook Live, Tone, I kind of got used to just watching it free. I get it. Fair enough. Okay. I got something free for you later on this week, Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And you don't have to ever aspire to be a stand-up comic to do this. You might just go, I'd like to be a little more creative. I'd like to know a little more about what ingredients go into the soup. Well, this Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, I've got a free intro. I'm going to do a couple of these in the coming weeks. A free intro to my stand-up comedy workshop. It's absolutely free. Just go to ComedySchools.com. Click. There's a place for you to click there. It'll show you your the meeting ID and passcode to be able to join us for free Tuesday night at 6 p.m. for a free intro. All right, those are the commercials. Those, my friends, are the commercials. So we got more fun stuff coming up. I'm always checking. This thing sticks a little sometimes. I get people who make comments and then I don't see them at all. What do I have to show you today? No, not that. It's this, okay? Look at this. Isn't this cool? This, what is this? Yes, that's right. It's an hourglass. It's an hourglass. I own currently 2 hourglasses. I have always been fascinated with hourglasses. And I think my fascination comes from 2 things as a child. One of them, of course, being my mom used to watch a soap opera. And the opening of the soap opera was like sand through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives. And if I remember correctly, they had an hourglass up there where the guy said that. And, of course, the Wizard of Oz and the Wicked Witch of the West and her hourglass. So I've always loved them. I bought this particular hourglass from, gosh darn it, I want to say it's a place called Things Remembered, which was a kind of a fancy knickknack store in a mall that I used to hang out in and shop in on Topanga Boulevard in Woodland Hills, California. As a matter of fact, when I go back to Los Angeles, if malls are open, it's a mall that I may go back to. It has a movie theater, it has restaurants. I hung out in there. When I lived at the top of Topanga, it was the nearest mall to me. And Things Remembered is a place that had things like this or like very expensive fountain pens. And during a particularly good part of my existence, not that this part isn't, okay, because I find gratitude in everything. During a very financially remunerative part of my existence, I started buying a lot of things at Things Remembered. This hourglass wasn't cheap. I bought a telescope. I bought pens that were in wooden cases that you had to get refilled that I never got refilled. I bought all that stuff. Angela Fox said, if I had 24 of them, could you manage time better? No, because I'd be spending all my time managing hourglasses. Then I become an hourglass manager. There was also, a lot of people don't know this, the Allman Brothers. Before they became the Allman Brothers, I believe they were named Hourglass. And there was also another band called Hourglass that had it was a one-hit wonder. I believe it was Hourglass. We're going to double check it. If I'm wrong, I want some of you to tell me. They did the song Brandy. Brandy, you're a fine girl. What a good life it could be. I believe the name of that band was Hourglass. So I've always been fascinated with them, just watching the sand go through them. You know, it is a physical manifestation of time actually moving, and it's just always fascinated me. But ever since the Wizard of Oz and that silly soap opera, Days of Our Lives, I was just fascinated by them. I've had like little egg timer ones. You've all had those. But I've got two hourglasses that are just they're decorations. But when I bought it, it meant something to me. When I bought it, here's what it symbolized. It symbolized that I was doing well enough that I could spend money on something like that, something that I wasn't going to eat, something that I wasn't going to wear, something that wasn't going to keep me warm, something that wasn't going to protect me, just a knick-knack. Okay, and we buy those things when we're doing well. And I'm glad I bought it. And I look forward to the day very soon when I, you, all of us can make purchases like that once again without worrying. Can we afford this? Can we afford this? I predicted a lot of you from watching the show will become big collectors of bobbleheads. Bobbleheads, I say. All right. Give me a little bit of a short show today. I got stuff to do. I got the big show tonight at 7 o'clock. I got other things. But I want to recommend 2 pieces of music to you right now. Hello, Champ Blasio. Brandy was Looking Glass, not Hourglass. Thank you, Lauren. Looking Glass. Not hour. There's a whole difference between a looking glass and an hourglass. A looking glass is a mirror. That's what it is, a mirror. I think it also could be the telescopes they used to use in pirate movies. Let's take a look here. There he is, matey. Let's get him. But the Allman Brothers, their original band, Dwayne and Greg, was called Hourglass before they became the Allman Brothers Band. But somebody could look that up and tell me if I'm wrong, too. I think that's a fair mistake to make. Looking Glass, Hourglass, Looking Glass. All right. I mean, who actually? Lauren, did you look that up right now to see if I was right or wrong, or did you actually know that? And that's the kind of thing that I would look up. I go, okay, I know that song. It sounds about right, and I would double check it. Either way, I thank you for bringing it up. That's kind of cool. Let's recommend two pieces of music here. The first one, totally avant-garde, totally different. But in the late 60s, early 70s, Frank Zappa created some of the most stunningly interesting music ever created on this planet. A pure genius, living in Laurel Canyon, also producing and playing on the albums of all the Laurel Canyon, the magical Laurel Canyon groups of the late 60s. Buffalo Springfield, Crosby, Stills and Nash, the Byrds, Joni Mitchell. The list goes on and on. Supposedly the guys from Little Feat were part of his studio band, until finally he kicked them out, kicked Lowell George and those guys out and said, form your own band. You're too good just to be sitting around playing in the studio. But Frank Zappa's best friend when he was a kid was also a musician who was not as heralded as Frank was. And here he is, Captain Beefheart and his magic band. Captain Beefheart and his magic band. Captain Beefheart and Frank Zappa grew up together. They both created something that, under the great umbrella of rock music of the late 60s, some of the most avant-garde, strangest music I've ever heard. I was a junior in high school, a man who pops on here on occasion. My English teacher at the time and a great mentor, Lon Simmons, had a media class, and we had to, I'm just waving this album around, and we had to create some sort of media presentation, and I cut out, there was something in the magazine about a guy going, and it was red, blue, yellow, and green for some reason, and I cut those out and put them on slides, and I played Captain Beefheart's The Blimp over and over, which is a strange piece of music. It just goes, the blimp, the blimp, the blimp, the blimp, and then someone goes, the mothership. It's a strange damn piece of music. Very Dadaistic. Captain Beefheart was a Dadaist in his music. And we'll get into what Dadaism was on a future show. But now you can look that up too. Dada. Marcel Duchamp was a... Frank Zappa's first child was named Hourglass. No, he was... It's now born. There you go. He looked it up. All right. Anyway, and I just showed those slides over and over, and Lon still passed me, even though he knew I was just dicking around. On this album, side 1 is Tarek Plain, Candy Corn. Side 2, 25th Century Quaker and Mirror Man. So look up YouTube Captain Beefheart. Let me just read you one lyric he has here called One Nest Rolls After Another. One nest rolls after another until there are no longer any birds. One tongue lashes another until there are no words. I love sails and no birds. And then it's written by Don Van Vliet, which was Captain Beefheart's real name. These performances were recorded one night in Los Angeles in 1965. The personnel is Captain Beefheart, Alex St. Clair, and Jimmy Simmons, and Jerry Hansley, and somebody named Drumbo on drums. So, and none of those people have we ever heard of except for Captain Beefheart. But if you're looking for something completely different to listen to, if you really want to challenge your ears and your brain, YouTube Captain Beefheart and his magic band, you will hear some very cool stuff. Now, this next one is one that a lot of you will probably be a little more familiar with, but I've got kind of a personal story behind it. And there it is. There it is. That is, what is that? It's kind of hard to read. I know. I'm holding it up, and I'm holding it upside down. That's why it's like I'm the president holding the Bible. I held it upside down. There it is. There it is. And what is this, ladies and gentlemen? This is a double album put out by the Association. This is the Association Live. In the late 60s, the Association were a massively big group, basically a folk group, okay, that then were able to kind of enter into the rock arena and listen to rockers. The players were Jules Alexander, Ted Blue Kell Jr., Brian Cole, Russ Giguere, Terry Kirkman, Larry Ramos, and Jim Yester. So they made up one of the best vocal groups of the late 60s. They rivaled the Mamas and the Papas and Peter, Paul, and Mary and what they were able to do with their vocals. Stunning stuff. Here's what's on the album. One Too Many Mornings, which is a classic. I'm trying to remember who wrote it. Then Along Comes Mary, which was a huge hit for them. Along Comes Mary. Goodbye Columbus. Let's see. Never My Love, another beautiful hit by the Association. What else is on here that I could tell you about that you would love? Cherish. Yes, Cherish and Windy. Those were their massive hits, the Association. Along Comes Mary, Cherish, Windy, and Never My Love. And if you want to hear something wonderful and beautiful that'll make you feel good, you want to YouTube those songs. You'll love them. I was glad to bring this to you today because it's great music from any era. The sound of great harmonies, whether it's from the 1920s or the 40s or the 60s or now, is something that will soothe the savage beast inside us and make us feel good and make us a little reflective. Love the Association. I knew Terry Kirkman for a brief time in the 80s. And one time I was talking with a group of people, and I was talking about how I kept trading drug for drug until I finally got sober. That I went from acid to intravenous drug use to beer. Anyway, I was going on about this thing. And then Terry Kirkman looked at me and he said, we used to have a saying on the tour bus, watch out for the acid. It leads to beer. So, because I had dropped some acid when I was a kid. I like to say I didn't like it that much. I only did it like 75 times. And it was scrambling my egg. And like so many people from that period, and you kind of see that story over and over again, that drug, that particular drug, that hallucinogenic drug, LSD, would so scramble brains that people were just looking to be, just get grounded again. And their drugs of choice would then become alcohol or more serious opiates. You saw it in music, too. You saw bands like the Grateful Dead put out an album like Life Dead, which rivals some of John Coltrane's later work, and then come out with American Beauty, Our Working Man's Dead, where it was just an attempt to be grounded again. And we saw it over and over. We saw, David Crosby and the Byrds, with all the musical experimentation they did to go to a Crosby, Stills, Nash, and sometimes Young, which was, for the most part, acoustic guitars and harmonies. So Terry Kirkman was the one who told me, we used to say on the tour bus, watch out for the acid. It leads to beer. It did for me, and it may for you. Okay, if you decide to go down that path. It was a path I already trod, and now I'm here with you now. Now, listen, I got to go now, okay? I can't stay on long today because I got a show tonight at 7. But every day at 2 p.m., you guys, every day at 2 p.m., please join me right here on Facebook Live, YouTube on the Comedy Schools channel, and ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. Subscribe on YouTube. Become my friend on Facebook. We want to stay connected with you. We want to have fun with you. If you get ideas for what we should do on the show, please let us know. Okay? I'm hoping I'll see all of you tonight. I hope you're going to jump on to ComedySchools.com right now and buy a ticket for tonight's Zoom show with Paul Green. I hope you're going to do that. I truly hope you do, because I'd love to see you there Sunday night. If not, I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Okay? All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Until we can see each other in person, this is the next best thing. And some people that see me in person say, this is better. All right. For my producer, who just happens to be my wife, Shirley Lowe Vicich, I want to thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Goodbye, YouTubers. We'll see you tomorrow. You know what? It'll start to end, and it won't. It's like the YouTube doesn't want to leave. There we go.